Hello there, this is Liam Neeson here. You may have heard that I'm a racist now, Father, but actually I'm not. Perhaps I was once, and I'm atoning for my sins now. And I'm doing a bit of community service. I have a particular set of skills, you see, and one of those skills is editing podcasts. So today I'm helping out the lads here at Diminishing Returns and putting together a selection of never-before-heard clips that were cut out of earlier episodes. I tell you what, there's some fucking shocking material here. These fellas are not woke, I'll tell you that much. Well, I might have to put them right when I next see them. Anyways, hit the music. Right, so we're starting here with some clips from episode 106. Now that's all about The Incredibles. Right, that's a kiddies film, right? It's for the kiddies. You young fellas, you want to go and see your films for the young fellas, like The Grey. It's one of my films, that is. That's the one where I assert my dominance over a wolf pack and become leader of the wolves. Anyway, that's what these lads should have gone to see, but here they are talking about the dangers of seeing kids' films and then some nonsense about The Incredibles.
It is weird, actually. Like, I tend to try and go off peak if you go into a kids' film. You go late at night or during the day or something if you can. That's generally when I'll go. But
during the day, yeah, as long as it's not a school holiday.
Yeah. But I remember, and normally, like, I think with most Pixar films, there's like an unwritten rule of no, it's fine. It's like reading Harry Potter. It's acceptable for adults to do it now in public.
I think when you and me went to see Coraline, Soul, that was a turning point for me. That was like, there are literally no kids in this ram-packed screening at all.
Oh, yeah. And, like, I went to see Isle of Dogs recently, and, there were kids there, but it soon became very clear that, like, it wasn't a kids' film, really, and all the parents
I feel sorry for any kids who got that.
Yeah, all the parents were sort of like, oh, God, they keep talking about mating with this other dog, and it's not quite, like... Anyway,
and it's slow and ponderous. Fucking Wes Anderson.
Everything's at a right angle. What's going on? Why is it all so like? But then, for example, I went to see Cars 3, which is Pixar, but like bottom of the barrel, kiddie nonsense Pixar, and I kind of thought it would be alright, but. It was me and my partner at the time went in, and I've never felt more out of place because it must have been the school holiday or something. It was absolutely packed full of like kids, and it was just how kiddie a film it was that I just kind of felt embarrassed to be there because it's like I can't really, this isn't. There's nothing here for me in this film. But how was I to know that it was going to be that shit? Like, well, Cars 2 was crap, but it had a little bit of something for me, and I'd heard this was the one with some emotional depth to it that might, God, Cars 3 was awful.
Is that the one where Lightning McQueen tries to kill himself?
Yeah, it's shocking. It's shit.
What does he do? Does he go in a garage and like close the door?
Well, I honestly, going into it, I thought Cars 3 was going to be like the Diving Bell and the Butterfly, and it was going to be mostly about. Well, no, genuinely, because I thought. Because he kind of like, it opens with him like becoming crippled basically and not being able to race anymore and training up to.
And he's communicating with his windscreen wipers.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be this like emotionally poignant thing about him trying to like, overcome and realizing that he's too old to do it and having to kind of make his peace with that, and it was just shit. It wasn't that at all. It was just, oh God, what a shit film. Anyway.
I've not seen it.
Oh my God, it's like, I like Cars, and I think like that's how bad Cars 3 is. So at the start, Mr. Incredible, he picks up that tree, uproots it to get the cat down. Yeah, there's barely any roots there for a start. And then he slams it down on the road to stop the crook. And I was thinking, like, when he picked it up just to get the cat down, I was thinking, like, that's a beautiful old tree you've, like, ruined for that. You could have got that cat down, like, more easily than that.
Because it's climbed up.
Yeah. And then he slams it down into the ground, and you're meant to think, oh, it's all right, he replanted it, the tree's fine. No, he's like snapped. Roots are massive, so he must have like snapped them all to get it out. So he's just killed that tree and just slammed it into the ground. Like,
well, I mean, you know, you're talking about it as like it's the bit from Cannibal Holocaust when they kill that massive turtle. And,
yeah, I don't like that either. I don't like that either. It's the same thing, though, isn't it? No respect for life, other than your own.
I thought he was going to pull the tree down and then it would like accidentally let go and the cat would be catapulted across the city.
Oh,
That's
that classic gag. You could make a supercut of that gag in animated films every time that's happened in like a DreamWorks movie.
I think I've seen Hulk Hogan do that in like Suburban Commando or something. One of those films.
What about the sequel is Elastigirl gets pregnant? How old are they? Like, they thought she was old enough that it wasn't really going to be an issue. They weren't planning for it. Maybe a bit of an accident.
I suppose labour would be very easy for her.
Yeah. It's just a drama. No superhero element at all. It's just like the family kind of falling apart because Mr. Incredible can't really afford another kid on top of all this, and he's not even sure if he wants to keep the baby, but Elastigirl gets like furious at the idea of that, and maybe he enlists the help of his little bug man who can shrink down to take care of it. And
shall we bail out of this pitch? Just get out of this one before you go too far.
What? You could shrink down, go into the quantum realm,
Yeah.
fiddle with time and space to like ensure that she never got pregnant in the first place.
That still sounds like baby murder to me.
All right, Syndrome didn't die. He just got mangled in that jet engine explosion.
He's changed his name to autoimmune deficiency syndrome.
Yes. Okay. And he just comes back one night and kills the baby in its sleep. And they find the baby dead one morning. And it becomes this national thing, like when that dingo ate that baby in Australia.
Yeah.
It's like this national story.
And then at the end, Syndrome comes back. Actually, I came from the future. He was going to be the new Hitler.
Sorted. That's the film right there.
Brilliant. It's good.
It's the worst sequel we've ever done. Right, my pitch is...
oh god, it keeps going.
This is a new pitch, right? This is the actual pitch.
What about a super dog?
I'm producing The Incredibles 2, okay? And what I do is I hire Brad Bird,
right?
And I say, here's a load of money. Do what you want with it. Make Incredibles 2. We'll get the original cast back. Apart from that kid, he's probably too old if you need to pick it up.
Gee, thanks for all the money, Mr. Executive. I'll go and make that movie right now
and
for you.
And my one note is maybe find a role for John C. Reilly in it somewhere. I think he'd suit.
No.
Oh, all right. Bob Odenkirk?
Yes.
All right, brilliant.
Brad, can you steer clear of abortion, please? It's not something we want to get involved in.
No.
I know what you're like.
No. Abortion or I walk.
Fair enough.
The man's a genius. Like, you can't argue with him.
You see what I'm talking about here? Joking about feckin' abortions. I know a woman who had an abortion once, and I said, was the doctor a black fella? She says, yes. And then, well, I got a bit confused, accidentally signed up to do the A-Team film. It was a terrible time for me, and I don't think it's right to go around making flippant jokes about it. That Brad Bird fella, he wanted to work with me once, he says to me, Liam, I'm making a Mission Impossible film. You're the only person who people believe could smash 7 shades of shite out of that Tom Cruise. But in the end, Tom Cruise, he asked me not to do it because he didn't want to be embarrassed, so. Now, speaking of being a hard bastard, here's Saul telling a story about getting into a fight.
So we did Fight Club last week, and at the end of the episode, we were talking about if we've ever been in a fight.
Right. And now? Because you said no.
And I got punched in the face over the weekend because
you were shagging his
girlfriend gave me his.
Was this another threesome scenario?
I was in a bar and I got this girl's number and her boyfriend didn't like it.
That's generally how it works. Yeah.
But it was funny because like basically it was in Fab Cafe, and apparently Manchester Comic Con had been on, so I was the alpha male in the entire club. I don't know if you can imagine that. It's not something I've ever experienced in my life, but like I was by far and away the alpha, and it was just interesting to me because I only realized afterwards, like, the idea of like hitting him back and getting into a fight like didn't even
occur to you.
cross my mind. But he's very lucky that
because you would have smashed his fucking face in.
Well, I would have, because like he was half my size and he had glasses. Like, he didn't hit me hard enough to, like, you know, I'd had a bit to drink, so maybe that played into it. But it was very much like, was I just hit? Was that what that was? Like, it was very like, because I wasn't even like properly looking at him at the time.
You go, do you mind, mate? I'm trying to chow up this bird. Will you leave me alone?
My friend at work is from Manchester, and he was like once, so then this guy started on me, and then I went all mank on him. Is that a thing? Can you go all mank on someone? Like,
oh, mate, you
that's where you go fucking mental, mate. You fucking stay the fuck away, mate. All right. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what he tried to do with me, because basically they were clearly having an argument, and she like ran off, and I was sort of gonna like chase after and be like, "You all right? is this man you're with bothering you?" And he got really like, "Mate, fucking leave it, mate, fucking out." And I was like, I just wasn't even engaging, and that's why he like hit me. But then I was just carried on.
you weren't entertaining him.
Well, very much. But that's the thing. I think if it being a film, it would have been like the ultimate power move is to just ignore the punch and carry on. So I was quite pleased with it, really. But anyway, there you go.
So what did he do after that then? Like, did he not try and do any more? Did he realise he was out of his depth?
I think he was a bit like, "Ugh," and he sort of. So I mean, this was outside now. Anyway, this was when it was letting out. So we both kind of went on looking for where she'd gone, and I couldn't find her. And he probably knew where she was going, so that probably... Yeah. I've been texting with her since, and she hasn't said, like, this guy is my boyfriend. Like, I get the impression maybe they weren't actually an item, and it was more he's, like, in love with her, but they're best friends, and he, like, managed to get her... Because I think they were having a bit of a kiss earlier in the night at some point.
Maybe he just met her that night, and, like, he was like, I've done the groundwork here, mate.
If anything, he's forced you two to like pursue something because he's the conversation starter. Do you remember that time my boyfriend hit you in the face? Like...
She's from quite far away, but I didn't realise. But she'd obviously come over for the Comic-Con thing.
Yeah.
So I think she was staying at his. So I do think reading.
So she was just throwing him a bone for a place to stay.
Can I ask
do
what
think
shade of orange she was? Like, just.
Shade of orange? Come on, Dan. Manchester
Not a Comic-Con person.
No, like, oh, well, yeah,
she
true.
was like purest white, I think you'll find.
Never seen the sun. Yeah.
Purest white. I think she probably had cat ears on or something. I don't entirely remember. I think she was wearing some sort of like weird school skirt or something. There was some kind of weird outfit from Comic-Con that I couldn't quite tell. There were a load of women there who were the Borg as well. They were my initial target, but I moved on from them.
Were you there alone?
What?
Were you alone?
No.
I was just hanging around people, walking up to women, going, I don't know if you know, but I'm the alpha male.
Well, it was me and one other guy, and he was the one who dragged me there. He was like, look, Comic-Con's on, it's going to be a load of nerds, easy pickings. So I was like, that sounds logical, yeah. And I think I out-alpha him because I'm taller and my hairline isn't receding. So,
that's always a good sign.
Although your hairline receding is a sign of testosterone, isn't it? So maybe he does out-alpha me. But
you've got to be able to pull it off in a sort of Jason Statham way, though, not like...
Yeah, he doesn't.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you know, we were out in town. It was a load of us, and it was just we were the last two who hadn't gone home yet. And anyway, that was my little fight, and it was a fun experience. And I got really annoyed earlier because I was telling there's this woman I'm having an affair with because she's married, but occasionally I'll sleep with her, and I was telling her about it, and she was like, "Oh, I'm on his side because like if they were clearly a thing," and I was like, "Fuck!" Like the day I'm gonna sit here and be lectured on the ethics of respecting relationships by someone who's cheating on their husband, the father of their child, with some some young man, like 10 years younger than them, they met on the internet. I was fuming. It was like, who the fuck do you think you are? Like, I've never cheated on my partner. I'll tell you that right now. I've been a catalyst. I'm partly responsible for multiple breakups, but I don't take any responsibility for that. Anyway, if there are any female listeners of Diminishing Returns,
there aren't.
Exactly.
There's one. She's already been on the show.
That was a joke. Oh yeah.
Hey, this Sol fella, he sounds all right to me. I can relate to that. I'm always the alpha male. I've got a lovely head of hair too. I'm not sure about that whole purist white business though. I don't know about that. I'll steal any woman. I don't care about her race. I'm very open-minded like that. Now, I happen to know that most of you just listen to this. You're a big Bond fans, a big fan of James Bond there. So I've dug into the archives. I found some clips from when the lads looked at The Man with the Golden Gun. Get a load of this.
What the fuck is that opening gun barrel shit in all these films?
What do you mean?
The iconic thing where you see through the gun barrel at James Bond, who's walking along, and then he kind of really awkwardly, like a supermodel, like stops his catwalk and turns to camera and shoots the gun, and then the gun bleeds and kind of really wonkily, like animated, like goes left and right a few times and falls down.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea is that someone's about to shoot James Bond, but then Bond turns around and shoots them so quickly they couldn't react, even though they had the gun loaded and pointed at him. Is that the idea?
Well, it's abstract, but yeah.
But then why? But we see it through the barrel, so it's a barrel eye view. But then why is there blood coming out of the gun? Why is the guy bleeding so much?
No, it's
bullet?
because it's abstract. It's not like Bond isn't actually walking through a perfectly white room, and
it's not even Bond.
No, well, it is in this one.
Not in the first one.
It's a different guy in this one than it was in the previous films. And then we've got the theme to the film, which I've written is very generic and boring. Like
I love it.
It's like a sub parody of Bond songs.
Yeah,
the
it
lyrics
does feel like a parody
because
it's kind of the lyrics are so kind of feels like they're supposed to be comedic, but I don't think they are.
Yeah, it's the man. His gun is made of gold.
Love is required whenever he's hired. He comes just before the kill.
Gold's an impractical metal to make a gun out of, but he doesn't care.
Impractical, it'd just explode.
It just, like, squidge up in your hands into a big ball. It's very soft metal.
I don't know if you could squidge it with your hand. It's not that soft.
You could when it gets hot on the island, it just melts.
Yeah.
How about we get a character in who's literally got a penis stick? Like Tom Savini in From Dusk Till Dawn. But, like, he's literally...
penis stick?
His a gun cock.
Oh, right.
Penis.
A penis stick.
Penis stick.
A boomstick.
I think a lot of the male actors have those things.
We have like Sex Machine in From Dusk Till Dawn. He's had his knob cut off and replaced with a bionic one.
The man with a gun for a cock.
But I think Bond needs to be a woman to go up against it for thematic reasons. So we're rebooting Bond as a woman, everyone.
She's got a bulletproof
That'll go down
twat.
well.
Gillian Anderson.
You always go Gillian Anderson. She's too old.
How well do you think it would go down if they rebooted Bond as a woman?
Not very well at all.
I think the internet rate films 1 out of 10 before they come out. Police would be out in full for that.
Oh yeah, I mean that's obviously stupid, but I mean I think if I'm sort of against the idea of turning Bond into any kind of
minority.
Not that women are. I don't think women are a minority, but I think if you're going into it thinking we need to make a female Bond, then that's the wrong attitude. Because I mean, if all the social justice warriors on Twitter actually went to see a film like Atomic Blonde instead of just going on about how James Bond should be a woman, then maybe there would be more popular female spy action films out there.
Yeah,
but no, instead apparently it's only fitting for the the sexual liberation to piggyback on the back of a established sexist, misogynist dinosaur of a franchise.
I'm all for female Ghostbusters in theory, although the film was dreadful. I'm all for female Doctor Who, but both of those are in no way reliant upon being male, and it, like, Doctor Who in particular makes perfect sense to be whatever. But I agree, James Bond, it's a different kettle of fish. If for no other reason, like continuity things that you'd have to kind of deal with. Although I don't know, I haven't seen the Craig era ones. I don't know to what extent they do completely.
He does play it very effeminate.
Wipe the slate clean.
Well, I'm all in favour of a female Bond. No, I think it's about bloody time, I say. Maybe a black fella or something. Come on now, Cubby Broccoli, let's get with the times here, Anne. You know, I met that Cubby Broccoli once back in the 90s. He said he wanted an Irish fella to play a Bond, and I was the perfect choice. I told him I'm not Irish. I'm British. I'm from Northern Ireland. I just can't do the accent. He said it was all the same to the Americans. It's very racist, if you ask me. Anyway, we did some cocaine together. I told him, get in touch with that Pierce Brosnan fella. Now, Pierce has always picked up my sloppy seconds. They wanted me with that Mamma Mia film, but I refused to be part of a film with a female lead. It was a different time, alright, I've moved on. Right, this next clip here is about Reservoir Dogs, that film by Quentin Tarantino, which is apparently about a bunch of coloured fellas who do a robbery. Watch out, anyone of a sensitive disposition, because you wouldn't believe the language in this shite.
Can I ask, I don't know if there's a point to this or not, it probably is nothing, but it's always kind of been a bugbear for me. He's called Mr. Blonde, but everyone else is Mr. like colour. So no, there's no Mr. Brunette or Mr. Redhead. It's Mr. Brown, Mr.
Well, blonde is a colour, yeah.
Well, not really.
It's not. I understand what you're saying, though, Sol. It's not within the. It doesn't fall within the same
Mr. Yellow,
colour
or Mr.
list
Gold.
as all the others.
Yeah, like I mean, obviously, yeah. It like if you want to get into like Dulex paint swab colours, yeah, he's blonde and snot green, and
I think it was a deliberate choice just to sort
set
of
him apart from the others.
wind you up. Yeah, no, just to wind people like you up who would go, why has he done that? It's not a real colour.
Well, I don't know. It just
Logic.
Well, we all know why
it's
he's called Mr. Pink.
It's not
because he's a fucking faggot.
It's not a logic issue for me, though. It's just kind of like, is there a deliberate reason to that? Is there something?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is
If
it meant
there
to set
is,
him
I haven't
aside
picked up
as
on
a
it. Yeah.
separate, like,
No, I don't
single
think
him out
so.
as the maverick of the group or the one who's going to cause trouble because he isn't gelling with them. I don't know. It just, or is it just Tarantino being a bit odd because he does stuff like this?
I do think it does make him more memorable, like of his name, because, like you said, it does seem separate to the rest of them. Especially when he's going around the room in that, essentially the beginning when he's going, "Your name is this, your name is this." It's like,
yeah, maybe. It's probably a reference to Clint Eastwood or something. Yeah, I mean, it's like it's probably just some weird little thing that Tarantino gets and no one else does.
Well, there is always, I think, some logic to be found behind Tarantino. Like, I remember when it came out, loads of people were asking him on the interview circuit why he'd spell Inglourious Bastards with an extra U and an E instead of an A, and he was just always really coy, like, "Well, I know the reason, but I'm not going to discuss it. It's personal and private to me." Watched the film again the other day, and that's how it's written on the guy's baseball bat, and it's like, oh, it's
the guy is
the character can't spell. End. The end.
Yeah,
it's good for Google Analytics to separate it from the original as well, I'm sure. So
yeah.
So I think when you kind of, I think there is usually a logic to it, and Tarantino just likes playing up the the mysterious. What's in the briefcase? Oh, I bet you he's Mr. Blonde as a reference to The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
That's what I just said, Clint Eastwood.
Oh, shit, yeah, of course. You
yeah,
did say
yeah.
Sorry, yeah, no. I forgot he was in that film. Yeah, no.
That's good, though. We came to the same conclusions. It's probably right.
If I was doing this film, I wouldn't have given them colours. I would have just given them, like, you're Mr. Whippy, you're Mr. Potato Head. Oh, why am I Mr. Potato Head? What are you trying to say? You know, that kind of...
Because you're a spud.
Yeah. Because look at you. What are you trying to say? What do you mean I'm funny? Stephen Wright plays the DJ. Steve Wright, comedian. That's a nice little weird touch. Personally, I think if Tarantino had to be in the film, he should have made himself the DJ.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I like Steve Wright.
So he went the complete opposite.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that's quite a nice little framing device, just something that keeps dropping back in, and it's just basically an excuse for Tarantino to put some songs that were probably on the the jukebox when his mother left him in the bar every night, or whatever traumatic childhood event made that a thing for him.
It's but no, isn't I like that character. You get that in a lot of films. You get that, like Samuel L. Jackson in Do the Right Thing, and I think there's someone in The Warriors, if you've ever seen that. It's a nice little framing device, like you say, just to kind of keep bringing us back to this kind of anchor that runs parallel to everything else. Okay, so next one along, Laurence Tierney.
A veteran actor, even in 1992, was a veteran actor.
Well, this is probably the first instance of one of Tarantino's trademarks, which is reviving the careers of like actors that he likes from something he's seen growing up, but no one else likes the actor anymore. Laurence Tierney, I wish Calvin was here to talk about this. To me, he is best known as
an answer machine on The Simpsons.
Yeah, the most famously troublesome guest appearance that the show ever had to deal with. When you hear them talking about working with him, how he was grumpy, didn't understand any of it, like just not very pleasant to work with. By all accounts, he was exactly the same on this film. He got fired after 3 days for not knowing any of his lines. And
really?
He's the new Marlon Brando.
Well, I believe his role was significantly trimmed down because I think he was a bigger part of the film, and they just fired him because he was like flubbing lines, ruining takes.
It's hidden very well in the film, though. You don't really think he needs more.
But it does come across as quite a natural performance, because I think he's just
a nice
sort of
presence in the film. I like him being there.
Yeah.
I do buy he was probably a horrible person, but
yeah, he does come across. But that's great because he's a crime boss,
exactly.
And like in the scenes
casting.
where we see him talking with, say, Tim Roth, Harvey Keitel, there's this sense of like he's just a scary guy.
Yeah.
And they're all a little bit wary of him. They're all like matey and being nice, but like you don't tread badly with him because he'll fuck you up. But I'll tell you, this is sort of a bigger discussion. I want to see what you think of it. But who I don't particularly like, and who I don't think is a very good actor at all, is Harvey Keitel.
Ooh, okay.
Ooh.
Now, I think that's a controversial statement, but it's basically, I don't think I've ever been that convinced by him, but rewatching these early films where he's in a few of them, I just don't think he's very good.
I completely get where you're coming from. I do disagree. I think he's actually a very good actor. I wonder if Tarantino is perhaps not the best at directing him. The go-to thing, the thing that I noticed him in recently was rewatching From Dusk Till Dawn, basically, when we get to that. And I think he gives a very good performance in From Dusk Till Dawn.
I agree, actually. I said the same thing when I made that note. I think he's good in From Dusk Till Dawn because he's not trying to play cool. I think he's playing a good character there. Whereas in Pulp Fiction, where he's trying to be like this cool guy, it just doesn't work.
Yeah,
and when he's a pimp in like Taxi Driver, it doesn't really hang together either.
I don't know. I enjoy the vibe. I enjoy the vibe that he gives to these films, though. Like, yes, it is very similar in Pulp Fiction is in Reservoir Dogs in that respect, but he's not out of place in there. He's not. I disagree. I don't think he's a bad actor or has bad acting in these films.
The impression I get is he's probably a very good actor. I haven't seen enough of his work to really say, but I think he's probably a very good actor. But I feel like he was perhaps miscast here, and it just doesn't quite ring true, and he doesn't quite feel comfortable playing this role. I think he gets away with it a lot more in Pulp Fiction, though. I think he kind of pulls that role off more there.
I think he gets away with it. I don't think it's a good performance. I think you could put a different actor in that role, and it would be brilliant. And like you should bring it to life.
I'll agree he's perhaps a bit miscast in that role.
Yeah. Okay, so Michael Madsen. This again was very much a defining sort of career moment that he never quite lived up to, like his career.
What else he's done.
Exactly. He's done all right out of it. And it really captures that menacing presence. I think he does a good job. Yeah. He's one of those people where he's like, he's bringing that out off the script. He's bringing that off the page in a way that no one else would have. It's like when Christopher Walken does something. It's like, I don't think anyone else would approach the character like that, the way he does it.
Yeah.
And it works. But that kind of quiet, sinister nature. Yeah, I think it's a nice little cast. All works well together.
Yeah. I mean, to assemble that many people of that quality, yeah, very, very impressive on the budget they had, certainly.
And no women.
Well, other
Not
than Linda
one
Kay,
woman, actually,
as
looking at
shocked
the
woman.
casting list.
Well, I mean, on that note, I think there's... I mean, I hate to be this guy. I do think there's a real undercurrent of awkward race relations, slight misogyny. I think there's a lot of this that permeates
I don't think it's very
Tarantino's
slight.
early work
in
a way
definitely.
that's not particularly pleasant. And I think it's very noticeable how that's gone away and he's moved into far more progressive kind of attitudes. I mean, he's always, I think his heart's always been in the right place, but I do think the man's really kind of matured and changed a lot, and there's just a lot of it's more prevalent in True Romance, frankly, but there's a lot of
the sort of thing you would write when you're 26 that you wouldn't write when you're a bit older, and
I mean, it's this one
a bit more world, and not just
the extended sequence of how black men treat their women, and it's like, oh, all right, I get like these characters aren't meant to be nice, but I do feel like this is Tarantino's mouthpiece through them a bit.
Well, yeah, I get the feeling that it's like, oh, I can write this character. It sort of lets me express these. Not necessarily that he thinks this, but it means, oh, I'm allowed to say this. I'm allowed to say because it's a character, and also Samuel Jackson's there, so that means it's okay.
Oh man, I cannot,
that sort of thing.
I cannot wait until. Remind me when we do Django Unchained, because I want to play a clip of Samuel L. Jackson making an interviewer very uncomfortable about the end. It's amazing.
You see what I'm talking about there? If you were offended by any of the language used in that clip, then you best take it up with Quentin Tarantino himself. The lads there are just quoting things. It's not their fault. Personally, I would never say the N-word. I think it's abominable, no matter what the context. On the other hand, Tarantino, if you're listening, I am a once good actor who would kill for a legitimising comeback. Oh, seriously, I was good once. Have you seen Schindler's List? Anyways, if you want to hear the boys reviewing the whole of Tarantino's filmography, check out episodes 114, 115 and 116. Oh, Jesus. We better lighten the mood here. Let's have some comedy. Let's look at Johnny English.
Yeah, the bit that always sticks out to me is the bit when he's in the car and he uses one of the gadgets to blow up a traffic camera, and then he rubs his hands together, and it's a real man of the people moment. Like, oh yeah, bloody hate those.
I think I've
traffic
made a note
cameras,
about that.
God.
Actually. But yeah, that's such a it's not in character with anything else in the film at all. It's like this bizarre moment.
Yeah.
You can tell that's just one of the screenwriters getting on there with a chip on their shoulder about being given a parking ticket for flying down a country lane at 80 miles an hour, thinking, I'll show you. Yeah. I should be allowed to drive my fancy car however fast I want.
Funnily enough, in a Bond film released 4 years prior, there's a scene which just out of nowhere, we'll get to it eventually in a few years, I'm sure, but there's a bit where Bond's driving past along the Thames on a speedboat, and he spots two traffic police clamping someone's illegally parked car, so he gets his speedboat and splashes them, and there's a big wave, and that's just in the film for some reason. So, and it was these same writers, so maybe you're right, Saul. Maybe they do have something against.
It did really strike me like a writer's vendetta creeping in. You can just tell sometimes.
Do you reckon Rowan Atkinson's one of those people who gets involved in the edit? Starts tinkering.
Yeah. And I reckon he gets too involved.
I bet,
it's funnier if you add another frame. It's funnier. The rule is always 5 frames after a joke so that it can breathe. That's the rule. I can see him taking it far too seriously. Yeah.
Are there any comedians from eras gone by that are actually just really chilled about the comedy and don't talk about it in such highfalutin, pretentious ways? I know, even Stan Laurel had all these rules. And
even Stan
he said that
Laurel,
the main rule
of all people.
He said that the main rule of comedy is to tell the audience what you're going to do, and then do it, and then tell them that it's already been done.
And that's why every Laurel and Hardy sketch is interminable with 20 minutes at the end after the jokes happened, where he looks at Hardy and then looks at camera and sort of huffs. Oh no, it's Hardy looks at him, isn't it? And then
Yes.
Oh man, you know what's a shame, right? Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself with the pitches here. Put this down as my pitch. It's a shame they never got to do a Mr. Bean Chuckle Brothers crossover. I reckon Johnny English 4 should be Johnny English and the surviving Chuckle. Stuck in a lift.
Nah, it wouldn't be the same.
And that's the film. It's them stuck in a lift, so they can't even do any slapstick.
But the true art of comedy is to make humour from nothing, you know?
Well, he was a mime artist. That's how he got started.
It's Barry Chuckle like telling anecdotes about doing panto with the Crankies in Nottingham in 1987. And then Rowan Atkinson just wanting to kill himself.
Rowan Atkinson just doing a bit of mime, because that's what he's got to work with, nothing. So, yeah, the plot is, what is it? John Malkovich is sneaking his way, like, he is legitimately in line for the throne, right?
Yeah, if you take out Queen Elizabeth and a load of her family.
Yeah. Which they do by walking into a palace with some guns and threatening a corgi. That's how easy it is.
Yeah.
Nobody noticed. There's no security there.
Well, a few years ago, that guy just like walked into Buckingham Palace, didn't he? Wasn't it a big scandal? Because some guy basically just did that, but didn't have any bad intentions.
The Queen's never made much of that, has she? I mean, it's like to say that she apparently like talked him around for like 10 minutes or something until security arrived.
Well, that's because what they don't say in the news, and which they nicely cover up, is that he was just there having a wank in the Queen's bedroom. There's still enough respect for the Queen that they just sort of like, let's not mention that. Let's talk about Charles for a bit.
I can't remember, but I had a friend when I was, when this film first came out. I remember seeing it at the cinema, and it was one of those things. So I think you've talked about before. You know when kids just lie, and there's not really any reason for why they do it. But I had someone who would like really reassured me, not just me, but everyone else, that it was actually the Queen appearing as herself in this film, and they couldn't show her face because she's like.
It's like when Michael Jackson had to use a fake name on The Simpsons. Because the Queen's record label would be angry about her actually showing up, so...
Yeah, and I don't know why. It's Prunella Scales, apparently, playing...
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, like, you wouldn't know it was her either, so it doesn't matter, does it?
Well, that's
just
true.
Get an old lady extra to do it.
Yeah. But, she says that line.
Oh!
Does she?
Never.
Calvin, I was... I've already spoken with Alan about this. I was a supporting artist on that thing with Malkovich playing Poirot.
Oh,
so I was hanging around with Johnny M, as we call him.
Oh, I say.
And it lists him online as being like really tall, but he's shorter than I am, and I'm 6 foot, so it's all lies.
Oh, okay.
He's really short, but watching this film, I think he might actually have shrunk.
Did you ask him about the accent?
No, but he was very he was very intense actually. Alan, when you're on set and there's like a few chairs and the actors are sitting in the chairs, and there's like an unwritten rule that like the actors are the chairs are for the actors, but no one's actually.
Well, I don't know if it's unwritten, to be honest. I think the chairs are put there for them.
Well, they kept going off and filming stuff, and like the extras, we'd been stood around all day, our feet were killing, so we were kind of trying to find places to sit. So every now and then we'd go and sit down in those chairs, and then just kind of get up if we saw an actor coming. And I was sat down in John Malkovich's chair, but then I looked up at one point from my phone, and John Malkovich was just stood, like staring me down from across the way really fucking intensely, and it was really scary. And then he was like mouthing something, and I was like, what the fuck, what's he saying to me? And then I realised, oh no, he's just like, he's running his lines through in his head, and he's not looking at me at all. He's like looking past me, and he's just kind of, so it was alright.
Speaking in tongues.
Yeah, but that's it. I thought like John Malkovich is coming to get me. This is really scary. He's a scary man.
I wouldn't sit in John Malkovich's chair.
He's terrifying. No, me neither.
He looks absurdly young in this film. I couldn't believe how much like younger he looked compared to nowadays.
I only think of him sort of around this era, like in Con Air, being John Malkovich. I don't know if I've seen him in anything since this.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of the definitive John Malkovich role as far as I'm concerned. This is what I know him for. So it was just weird to me when I came back.
Me too.
It's just weird when I came back to it, and it was like, oh god, I remembered him being a lot older than that. But
did you hear that? wanking in front of the Queen. Jesus. The Queen, if you're listening, give me a call if you need to beef up your security. I can be a personal bodyguard. I was going to be in The Bodyguard, that film, until I found out to be playing against Whitney Houston, doing love scenes and such. Look, I've changed, all right. I've moved on. I don't care about that sort of thing anymore. I'm a different person now. Look, you all like quizzes, don't you? Right. Here's a quiz that got cut out to the show because these feckers record too much.
This quiz, I'm going to give you the name of an actor. Now, it's going to be one at a time. We'll start with Calvin. I'm going to give you the name of an actor.
Right.
And you have to name me films that they appear in.
Okay.
Now, up to 5 points. I'll give you a point for each one you get. But
are we
obviously,
taking it in turns? Or are you going to give Calvin one?
I'm going to give Calvin one, then I'll give you one.
Okay.
But obviously, I'm doing this in a way that it's going to be fairly difficult to answer. And so there's going to be caveats. So, with that in mind, let me just...
Is Gary Chalk one of these?
No. Your first one, I want you to name as many films as possible, up to 5.
Right.
Films starring Daniel Radcliffe, not including Harry Potter franchise.
Right.
Oh,
okay.
I'd be good at this.
That's why I'm giving it to him.
I had to review one of his recent films the other night. It wasn't that good.
Okay, well, there's The Woman in Black.
Yes, correct.
Swiss Army Man.
Correct.
Oh, God. Victor Frankenstein.
Yes, Victor Frankenstein, which we covered in our Frankenstein episode, actually. Yes,
Yeah.
correct. Those were the 3 I knew. So you're equal with me now.
Oh, let me think. Oh, oh God. It's something like "Kill Them, My Darlings" or something like that. Will I get a point for that? Kill them softly, my darlings, or something like that.
Well, given that the title is quite a well-known phrase that you're getting wrong, I don't know if I should allow that.
Is it a well-known phrase?
It
something
is in
my darlings.
In writing circles, yes.
Hello, my darlings. Kill your darlings.
Kill your darlings. There you go. All you had to say was "kill your darlings." I'll give you that. He played Allen Ginsberg in that. Okay, I can give you. You've got 4 points. Pretty good. I can give you one more.
Right.
I'll give you.
Can I steal?
Okay.
No, I'm not allowing steals. But you can
not even.
Once Calvin has died a death, you can play for pride.
Okay,
I can't give you too much more time now.
I can't think of anything.
No, okay, we'll have to stop you at 4.
Yeah.
Well done, though. That's not bad. Sol, would you like to just throw in some answers? Have you got anything?
He did something called Jungle last year.
That is correct. He did do a film called Jungle last year.
So I would have only got 4 points myself.
In terms of what I can think of, Now You See Me 2, he's in that.
Fuck,
Oh,
forgot he did that. Yeah.
And to be honest, so the others I've never heard of, so that's the only one I could think. Oh, he is, pre-Harry Potter, he's in The Tailor of Panama, apparently.
Oh, he was also in David Copperfield.
Yes, but that
was a TV film, I suppose,
miniseries. Yes,
but
not bad at all. So 4 points to you, Calvin.
Respectable.
So,
thank you,
Sol. Your person
is it going to be Sean Connery to wind Calvin up because I won't know any of them.
This one might be easier. It's definitely got a lot more potential answers because he's got a much longer CV. But your question is Christopher Lloyd without Back to the Future.
Okay.
I'm not going to give you too long.
Not counting TV movies, only
just proper
theatrical
films.
Oh my god. The Addams Family.
Yes.
Addams Family Values.
Correct. That's you solid. That's your safe 2 points, really. I was expecting to.
I'm going to really struggle now. Fucking hell.
I can think of at least 3 more.
All I can think of is so many TV things he's done.
Are you timing this?
I'm going. It's all right. Calm down. We're just I'll let him have a minute to think.
But hang on. When you say not Back to the Future, is that excluding portrayals of Dr. Brown entirely, or can I have A Million Ways to Die in the West? That's what I'm asking.
Let me look it up. Hang on a sec.
Seth MacFarlane film.
Is it that one? Dr. Brown. Okay. I'll let you have that. Yeah.
Can I have Funny or Die movie?
No.
Donald Trump's The Art of the Deal.
All right, I'm going to give you 10 seconds.
Jesus Christ. Oh, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yes, that was the obvious one. Well done. All right, we'll call it at that. 4. Good effort. You got the one that you would have been embarrassed about, which was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah.
After that, I think it is fairly... Calvin, do you want to throw some at us?
Well, Who Framed Roger Rabbit being a big one.
Hell, of
Yes,
course.
And Piranha 3D and Piranha 3 Double D.
Piranha
I didn't know it was in
Double
both of them.
D, yeah. There is Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead, which is a personal favourite of mine.
There's that film where he's in with Hulk Hogan.
Oh, yes.
I was
Suburban
frozen
Commando,
today!
yeah. Suburban Commando, that's correct. There was another one here. Oh, Sin City, A Dame to Kill For. Is that the latest Sin City? Is in that?
I haven't seen it. I didn't know it was in that.
No, I didn't either. I just saw it there. Anyway, yeah, I think we got the kind of big ones. Okay, well done. 4 points there as well. Now, Calvin, your second one. I'd like you to name films that feature Elijah Wood, not including Lord of the Rings.
Oh, that's difficult. Again, I can think of TV that he's...
I must admit, I'm giving this one to Calvin rather than you, so I think he's going to have a better chance with this.
Okay, The Faculty.
The Faculty, correct?
I would
That's
never have
one.
remembered that, yeah.
There's one with
Well, I can think of two.
Sigourney Weaver in it, and I believe it's called Ice Storm.
The Ice Storm is correct.
Right, brilliant. Oh, God, what else? Elijah Wood. Oh, it's the football hooligan one. And it's Green something.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Green. It's not mile. It's not zone. It's. Can I have a clue?
It's the place.
Green Park.
It's a location that they... I don't know what the connection is particularly. But...
Green Stadium.
Anyway, try and get in something else.
Green Street.
Green Street is correct. There you go.
Phew.
That's
Okay,
3
yeah.
you've got.
I'm trying to think of ones where he's a kid, because I've definitely seen more where he's...
Oh, yes. That's
Um,
reminded me of another one.
The Hobbit?
Ooh.
He is in The Hobbit, the first one. I'm going to give you a point for that.
That counts as one of the Lord of the Rings films.
No, I'm going to give him it. But I'm going to give you 5
Boo.
more seconds to get a...
I've got
3,
nothing.
2.
No.
Okay, that's 4 though. That's 4. That's not bad. I think Sol has something he wants to shout out.
He did a zombie film where the kids were zombies, but I can't remember what it's called. He did that piano film that I've mentioned on the podcast before. I think it's
Not
just
actual
called...
titles.
No, it's called Piano, isn't it? Or Grand Piano, maybe. And he popped up in Back to the Future Part 2.
Yes.
Ah.
Famously, that little kid in Back to the Future Part 2. That's one of the famous ones. Let me go. I'll throw some out at you here. He's in Forever Young, as a Mel Gibson film.
Okay.
Flipper, he was the main kid in that. Well, this is pre thingy, obviously. Deep Impact, he was quite a big part in that.
Oh,
as
damn
well.
it! That's the one I was thinking of. Yeah. Okay.
What's that zombie movie called, Alan?
I don't know. If you can give me I'm only looking at a list of titles. I don't know what it is. He's in Spy Kids 3, apparently.
It was one of his most recent films, like 2015, 16,
right, okay.
something like that. And it's probably called something like Hungry Kids or something.
A couple more obvious ones here. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Oh.
Is he in that?
Yeah. Sin City.
He's in that?
Yeah.
I don't remember any of this. God, he's a forgettable actor, isn't he?
He's got big eyes in Sin City. Bobby, which is about the assassination of Robert Kennedy. Happy Feet and Happy Feet 2 were the obvious answers.
Owls of Ga'Hoole as well. I bet isn't that.
No, he's not Australian.
Oh.
Yeah, so those were the ones I thought you might get.
I'm looking up this zombie movie.
Hang on, I'm trying to find
If you can hear me typing. Cooties. It was called Cooties.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, isn't there much recently? Yeah. Anyway, last one. You've done pretty well so far. 4 of each. So, this is quite a tough one though, Sol. I've got to be honest.
Yeah.
I would like you to name films that feature Kelsey Grammer. With no limitations whatsoever.
Oh, brilliant! Oh, I could. Yeah.
This is I think
X-Men 3? Was it the third one? The Last Stand that he was in?
Yeah.
Yes.
Frasier the movie.
Which hasn't happened yet, and now Martha and the
Sadly.
Dead.
His scene was deleted, I believe, from the Simpsons movie, so that probably doesn't count.
I'm willing to be lenient.
No.
I'm feeling
he was-
lenient for you though, because this is a tough one.
What?
No, he was in it, but his scene was deleted, so I don't think it counts.
If it's not even on the
Kelsey
on IMDb,
Grammer.
Well, Sam Neill was. No, okay, never mind.
Toy Story 2.
Yes, well done. That was the one I knew you'd get.
I've got so many.
he did a film from one of the. It's called like An American Carol, and it's a parody of A Christmas Carol, but it's like really right wing Republican, like making fun of Michael Moore.
Yeah, it's
Michael
an American
Moore
Carol.
parodies visited by a load of like ghosts to show how wrong he is for being people or something, and he played like the ghost of George Washington or something.
We should look at that on the on the show sometime. I think it'd make a really interesting watch.
Okay, do you know what it's called?
Isn't it An American Carol?
An American. Oh, let me look it up.
Or something like that.
Yeah, it might. I think in America it went under the title Big Fat Important Movie.
There it is. Yes, Big Fat Important Movie. He played Patton in it. I'll give you that. So
he's got 3.
3.
Does he pop up in X-Men Days of Future Past for like one scene?
He does.
He does. He has a little cameo in that. He barely walks past. But that is 4. I think I might have to call you on this though.
I don't think I'm going to get any
very
more
well
than that.
though, yeah. Okay, let's call it there. You got 4 again. So very well done. Calvin, I feel you bursting over there.
Transformers: Age of Extinction.
Yes.
And Fame.
Fame is in Fame, yeah.
Paul Bunyan.
There's a film here called Bunyan and the Babe, is that it?
Oh, that's the one. Yeah.
Bunyan and Babe.
Yeah.
Let's see what else jumps out at me here. Bad Neighbours 2. The Expendables 3.
Oh God, I forgot he was. Yeah. I haven't seen it, but yeah.
I mean, that's most of it, really. the other ones, are nothing else that I particularly know. Yeah, pretty good. I'm pretty impressed with you there, guys. It's tough one.
Yeah.
Did we draw then?
You got 4 on every one, yeah.
Wow.
It's not bad at all.
Cool.
Not bad there, lads. Here's a quiz for you. Name films starring Liam Neeson in which he's not the fiercest motherfucker in the whole thing. It's a trick question, isn't it? There's no such films. Have you seen that Love Actually? That's all about love, and I still managed to be a feckin' hero. You see, my character in that, he's looking after this little boy, and the boy's got cancer or something. So I shrink down in a specially made submarine, and then I get injected into his bloodstream, and I go in and kick the shite out of all the cancer cells, so the little fella, he's okay again. And then I bang that Claudia Schiffer. It's great stuff. Hey, do you know they're doing a sequel to Love Actually? It's called Love Theoretically. But I won't be doing it unless Richard Curtis promises to change his ways, put some ethnic minorities in his films now. Come on, Richard. It's 21st century. If I can change my ways, so can you. Now, if there's one thing I hate, it's when these lads do shite impressions of celebrities, but they will insist. So here's a clip of them trying to get to grips with Pierce Brosnan, followed by some other random clips that I couldn't really be bothered to introduce properly.
Hello, it's me, James Bond. That's my Pierce Brosnan. That's what it sounds like, isn't it?
Are you sure about that?
It sounds like, you kind of...
Marlon Brando?
That's what he talks like. How does he talk then?
The name's Bond. James Bond!
What goes on in this town is none of your business. Alright, that's... Okay, yeah. I mean, I've barely ever seen Pierce Brosnan in a film, so I don't really... I'm going off of one phrase as to what he sounds like.
I've seen so many bad ones recently. He's done, nothing but shit. Have I talked to you about IT?
Oh God, I have seen Mamma Mia.
Have you seen IT? Have I told you about that film?
No,
yet?
I didn't know he was in it. I know of that film.
Oh, it's a shocking
Stephen
film.
King's IT?
No,
a clown who works in an office.
No, it's about Pierce Brosnan, who's like some high-ranking... Well, in fact, he is CEO of this company, and he pisses off the IT guy. So the IT guy gets back at him by hacking into his smart home. So it's based.
It's like that Simpsons episode where Pierce Brosnan is a smart home trying to kill Homer Simpson.
Yes, it's exactly that. Yeah, but it's just funny because it's like the IT guy turns on, Pierce Brosnan's smart speakers at midnight, and he wakes up and he just runs around the house screaming at all of his devices to shut off. Anyway,
then maybe you shouldn't be living here.
Because the film is because this creepy IT guy who's 25 or something has a crush on Pierce Brosnan's daughter, who's supposed to be 16, 17, but the camera is still going up a skirt whenever it can and sort of ogling her while sunbathing and all this salacious camera work, and it's really? Anyway, sorry. That's a film for another day.
What goes on in this house is none of your business. I can't do it. I can't get it down. I'm going to work on this.
What goes on in this town is not... No, that's not it.
As long as I'm living here, it is my business. It's mine. Is it Natasha McElhone or something? Is that,
No, it's Alison Doody.
Oh, excuse me.
Who will be appearing in a few Bond films' time, so we can reference this again.
Oh, that's why her name was so directly on your lips.
I mean, she's also the starring lady in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, which stars Sean Connery. My God, this woman's like...
She's Bond mad.
Yeah, God, she's had them all. She's like the Kevin Bacon of Bond films. We'll be talking about some of Pierce Brosnan's bad vocal habits in a few films' time. He does have a tendency to... like he'll
sing
say
badly,
a sentence...
shout.
If he's asking a question, he tends to finish it with, "Eh?" Where are the jewels? Eh? He does that quite a lot, and he does it more and more as the films go on. I think the directors probably had less say over him.
In which film does he say, where are the jewels? Where are the jewels, No, I can't do it.
He doesn't actually say that line. It was just, yeah. What was one that he actually
It's some
says?
kind of lawnmower man.
There was this thing that someone at work was telling me about, where it's like, you know, like how in Inception, when not Inception, sorry. Oh, what's the Interstellar? You know when Anne Hathaway and Matthew McConaughey go down to the planet and experience time differently to like everyone else?
Yeah.
So apparently that's what it's like for little people, like, but much, you know, smaller, obviously. But yeah, like you know, fraction of a difference. But I just thought that was really interesting.
I mean, it's technically true. Like the further away out of the Earth's orbit you are, then it's relativity.
I mean, the same is true
so
of
the further
Alan
away you
and
are,
you. Because you're
'cause
different.
You're an inch taller than me, or whatever you are.
Well, yeah, exactly. But you're slightly wider than me.
You say my mass my density will bring me down.
Well, I wonder. So I'm technically experiencing time faster than you.
That's why you're aging worse.
Oh no, wait, slower.
That's why you're aging
I'm
worse.
aging worse.
That's why Alan's aging worse.
Seems I am as well. Calvin was there with his stubble and his video, looking sexy. You've got thin and sexy as well.
I know, I'm looking really good now.
You are, I'm surprised.
Should we update our pictures on the website just so everybody knows?
I should, yeah. Have you got one of you just like balding that I can put up there?
It's not got to a point where it's really like visible yet, but I'm definitely aware of it.
I'm going to Photoshop one of you looking like an old man. I'm going to run it through one of those apps that'll show me what you look like as an old man and put it on the website. But yeah, if one of our listeners is a woman, I think that's probably the most optimistic. Do
you think we've got any listeners who are women that we don't know personally?
Hi, Alan's mum.
She stopped listening. She doesn't like Sol.
Oh, she likes me. She'll be listening to this one, surely.
Maybe.
If there's any women out there at all, just have a look at what I'm looking like now, and then get in touch. Because I'm still single, but I'm looking good now. Yeah, let's instead of doing Bond dogs, let's figure out what dog Calvin would have if he was one of the people if he was in the opening of 101 Dalmatians, and then there was an animated shot of Calvin walking a dog down the street.
Yeah.
It'd be Calvin and... it'd be a little dog.
Little designer poodle or something. Now, Calvin would be one of those people with like a tiny little pig.
No, I'd be the one with a little micro pig.
Yeah, you'd be the one with an ironic dog. That's a
Calvin would have one of those ugly little ones, like a Boston Terrier. You know, the one that looks like a bat.
How do you feel, Calvin, about dogs drooling?
I'm not a fan.
Okay, that rules out several. What's your biggest size for a dog that you would deem acceptable?
It's definitely a small dog for Calvin, like a Maltese.
Maltese. I'm just googling dogs. Maltese. Oh, they're so... Actually, no. People put bows in them and stuff. They're nice when they're puppies, but when they grow up, they look...
See,
horrible.
Cal, you're the sort of person who have a dog with a little jacket on.
What do you two think of me?
Calvin's the kind of guy who would pick a dog that looks the most like Pokemon, like a dog Pokemon that he likes.
Well, you're not far off there.
So,
actually.
Calvin, what's your favourite dog Pokemon?
Dog Pokemon.
There's more than one dog Pokemon.
I do love Growlithe.
It's not a real name.
They're too scruffy for you. I couldn't see you having a...
What? Oh, no, I like scruffy dogs.
No,
Yeah.
I feel like you would judge your dog on how much it cost.
Yeah. If you could get a dog with tiger stripes in real life...
Yeah,
you'd be
you have a
all
dog
over
where
it,
you have to buy it special food because it can't eat normal dog foods. It's too delicate.
What do you two think of me? Like, I don't...
That you're a bit of a ponce.
I had a steak for dinner, and I couldn't stop thinking of you, Calvin. As I was cooking it, I was thinking, Calvin had overcooked this steak. He'd have it done really well done. That would ruin it. And it kept coming. Like, I just couldn't get it out of my head. It was really bugging me.
I just had avocado and poached eggs for my my evening meal.
I had an avocado for lunch, so yeah.
Oh, I thought you'd turn your nose up at avocado, Saul.
Talk
No,
about
he's
Mexican
Mexican.
guacamole.
Oh, of
I'm
course.
the king of
yeah.
avocados.
Yeah, he liked them before they were cool.
Yeah.
He did, yeah.
You know, I only agreed to do this shitty podcast because they said one of them was Mexican. Because, you know, I'm trying to give back and all that. Now I've seen the pictures of them. If this fella's Mexican, I guess Keanu Reeves is from Mexico as well. Anyway, so, if you like podcasts with a bunch of white fellas talking about films, then check out the other episodes. And if you enjoy the show, then go and rate it on the iTunes, stick your hand in your pocket, give them $1 a month over at patreon.com/dimreturns. They've got loads of extra content on there, so it's well worthwhile. And apparently they lost a load of money investing in a failed Randy Newman album that didn't sell, so they need all the help they can get. Alright, I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you later.